The highest price that Bitcoin ever reached was 20,000 US dollars. The second highest price came in around June 2019 at 13,870. And Bitcoin has just officially retested that exact price level. Bitcoin did see a little bit of rejection at that price level, which is not much of a surprise. We are actually still trading above 13,000, which is pretty good considering that the S&P 500 is down 3% today, and it's seeing one of the worst weekly candles it's seen since the initial COVID-19 breakout. Right now, Bitcoin is behaving very similar to how it did during the 2016 election season. The S&P was downtrending going into November 3rd, and during that time, Bitcoin was actually uptrending. So there was a short-term decoupling. And the price of Ethereum has not really moved all that much, and Chainlink is still consolidating just above the 21-day EMA. So we're going to be talking about all of this and more in today's video. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin Svenson, and today we're going to be talking about the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Chainlink. Now, moving on to the weekly chart for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has actually come back to retest the second highest price it's ever hit in its history, which is just around 13.8K. Bitcoin was only $20 away from hitting the exact price that we hit in June of 2019. In my past many videos and in all of the live streams that I've been doing recently, what I've been saying is that, it's not necessarily the smartest idea to buy Bitcoin at these levels. What I've been saying on this channel for the past week or two is that you want to wait for Bitcoin to come back to retest the 21-week EMA, right? That is the level of interest for me, at least. That's where I want to be buying Bitcoin on the next pullback. And so far, Bitcoin has not really pulled back enough for me to want to buy here, right? Looking at the weekly chart, really not all too much has changed at all recently. And I would need to see Bitcoin actually come back to test the 21-week EMA, which could be potentially closer to 12K eventually, right? If we consolidate for a bit. In yesterday's live stream, as Bitcoin was mooning, we were talking about how, Bitcoin is showing bearish divergence on the 4-hour chart, which now has played out. We were talking about how Bitcoin is retesting the 2019 peak high resistance level, and also how we actually became a little bit overbought on the weekly, and that buying Bitcoin at those levels was not necessarily the right idea. And in my past few videos, I've been trying to give you guys a little bit of FOMO medicine. So at this point, I still think the best move is to wait for Bitcoin to consolidate to catch up with the 21-week EMA, right? I think this type of a pullback for Bitcoin would be very constructive, and it's possible that we may not actually break out until, going into 2021, right? We could stay below 13.8K for the remainder of the year before getting that next major parabolic advance. And this is something similar to what Bitcoin did from 2016 going into 2017, right? Bitcoin held along this upward sloping trend line, held the blue 21-week EMA, and we held the 21-week EMA for the entire bull run until we broke the parabolic structure. And as long as things remain at least stable in the global markets after the election takes place, right? Seeing a downtrend going into November 3rd is kind of expected at this point. But as long as things can remain at least generally stable post-election, then I think it's possible that Bitcoin may actually be looking to continue to trend upward along this upward sloping trend along the 21-week EMA until it meets the all-time high potentially. So even if my idea about what is about to happen is correct, and we do actually trend along the 21-week EMA, and that would be the prime area of entry for Bitcoin, just remember, in between, you're going to see major corrections, right? 15% to the downside. Then Bitcoin rallies again, 50% up. Then it corrects again, another 15% to the downside, right? Just remember, there's going to be a lot of volatility on the way up. As of right now, as long as we're above the 21-week EMA, I am going to be remaining generally bullish on Bitcoin. If at any point Bitcoin, let's say we trend towards the 21-week EMA and we break below it, then I would actually start to become much more bearish on the market, because in this type of a scenario, what that would mean is that the stock market is probably going through a major correction. We did develop bearish divergence on the weekly chart for the S&P. So there is a possibility that if the resurgence of COVID-19 is bad enough and there's more lockdowns and we don't get a stimulus through, there could be a major correction for the stock market once again. And in that scenario, Bitcoin would very likely break below the 21-week EMA. We would enter a slightly more bearish trend. But as of right now, I'm still bullish on Bitcoin, and I think the bullish case has much more momentum. I just wanted to bring some balance to this video and explain both scenarios. But as of right now, I'm going to be remaining bullish on Bitcoin, and I'm going to be looking for entries closer to 12K along the 21-week EMA. Moving on to Ethereum. Ethereum has not really moved at all. We are still just sitting right around this resistance level. Not much movement here. This is obviously because Bitcoin has been the star of the show recently, and most of the market has been focused on Bitcoin. Now that Bitcoin has seen rejection at that 13.8K resistance, maybe this means that Bitcoin is going to be consolidating now for the next few weeks. And if that does happen, if we do actually end up catching up with the 21-week EMA, then in that time period before the breakout, altcoins might be able to move. So if Bitcoin can get a nice consolidation here, Ethereum would very likely run up towards the $488,500 level. And a similar thing goes for chainlink. If Bitcoin can consolidate in this range, this may actually allow money to cycle out of Bitcoin into altcoins and give chainlink some of that support and some of that momentum it needs to actually get a break above that $13.40 level, maybe, right? So if Bitcoin does consolidate, start looking towards the altcoins. Remember, chainlink needs to hold the 21-day EMA in order to maintain this bullish posture. If we can do that, then we may have a chance of testing up towards 13.4 and maybe breaking out. The 21-day EMA for chainlink was a very important resistance indicator in multiple occasions. It was also a major support indicator on the run-up. Then we also flipped it as support here recently, and we are now holding it as support once again. So I do think that chainlink, you're going to want to hold that, right? You're going to want to hold this moving average, and if you do, you may have a shot at actually breaking out towards the upside. And last but not least, JP Morgan turns bullish on Bitcoin, citing potential long-term upside, to now saying that Bitcoin is in competition with gold. But not only that, the Rothschild Investment Corporation becomes a Bitcoin stakeholder. The Rothschild Investment Corporation has embraced cryptocurrencies by investing in Bitcoin. First, they ignore you.
Could care less about Bitcoin. I don't know why.
Then they fight you.
Bitcoin is going to zero.
And then you win. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also sign up for the Cryptowatch platform, download the Cryptowatch desktop app, and join Patreon if you want extra content to support this channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video.